Welcome back. Part 3 of the meditation is forgiveness. So you've already been looking at compassion and then gratitude and now forgiveness. Now, I grew up going to Sunday school, and so I learned that to forgive is to be divine, forgiveness is divinity, and I've always tried to practice forgiveness as much as possible because I grew up thinking it was an important thing to do. And indeed, science is now showing just how amazingly important the ability to forgive is. And so you want to start practicing it in some way, both towards others, but also for yourself as well. Because if there's anything that's unforgiven in your life, it's a mental burden. It's a real heavy burden on your whole system. And this can stop you in so many ways, not just mentally, but it can actually stop you physically. And practicing forgiveness doesn't just have, enlightening effects on the brain. It doesn't just make you feel better in here. It's not as easy to do as compassion and gratitude at all. It takes work, and this is where you can get some unpleasant, or in fact you're encouraged to actually go through some unpleasant-ish feelings while you're trying to practice forgiveness. But the actual art of forgiving, and when you actually forgive, because it causes this unburdening from your system, you actually physically perform better. You will actually be stronger and have more endurance. Some researchers, I think it was in China, took a whole load of students through a forgiveness program of some kind, whether they were writing about it or teaching about it, and they found an amazing things happen, like they could lift heavier, jump higher, they could run up a hill faster. They would actually look at a hill before going through a forgiveness exercise and say, oh, that's really, really steep, that looks really, really hard. And then they'd go through a forgiveness exercise, they'd look at something that was the same steepness, and they just wouldn't think it was the same steep. They wouldn't think it was so hard. So forgiveness, it is a challenge to forgive people at times, and yourself it can be even harder to forgive. But boy, is it worth it when you start practicing it and when you when you really get to it. So when it comes to the forgiveness part of the meditation, think of something that you have not forgiven someone about, or you have not forgiven yourself about. Go back to that situation that caused this problem, and just try and relive some of those things, and look at trying to, if you can't forgive yourself about it yet, or if you can't forgive that person about it yet, just try and think, okay, well, what did I learn from that? Has my life got any better because of that? Is there something that I've gained in some way? Start trying to search for the positive in that situation. Now, forgiveness may not sort of wash over you immediately in the same way that the feelings of compassion and gratitude do, but over time, because you may have to revisit this same thing time after time, meditation after meditation, the feelings that come up that are not pleasant may start disappearing, and you realise that actually I don't have any problem with that person, or with that aspect. That's something that I did about myself. I have now actually forgiven myself, or I've forgiven that person. And you can imagine yourself forgiving and feeling forgiving as well. There are ways to get to the forgiveness, but really forgiving and actually really meaning it, you'll feel it inside, and you will feel yourself getting lighter and stronger. So, be compassionate, be grateful, and forgive. Live long and prosper, and we'll be seeing you very shortly.